I promise you Roth conversions are way easier to understand than you think. Our industry makes it really complicated because they use all these fancy words, but here's how to think about it. If you know you're going to be in a higher tax bracket in the future compared to when you retire, it could make sense to do Roth conversions. Keyword, could. You got to be really careful. Roth conversions are like surgery. So I know I just said they're really easy to understand, but you got to be really careful. That is true. It's like a surgery. A surgery could be very simple. For example, my brother had an ACL surgery. They said, no worries, we've done tons of them. He had to have another one because it wasn't done properly the first time. So it's really important to do well, but you can understand what's the purpose. The purpose is get my brother back on the field to play soccer. My brother played soccer for 10 years. So it was a big deal. It didn't happen the way it should have the first time. So two main reasons, once again, then I'm personally a visual learner, so I'm going to show you a real case study, but two main reasons to understand when it might make sense for you to do Roth conversions. I think the case study will connect the dots for you. Number one, if you know you're going to be in a higher tax bracket in the future, for example, pretend I'm 55 today and I make $300,000 a year. And at 60, I'm going to retire. And then at 67, I'm going to turn on Social Security. And at 75, I have what are called RMDs, required minimum distributions. What that means is I have from 60 to 67 to effectively do these Roth conversions. Why? My tax bracket might be really low. Maybe I'm living off a brokerage account. Maybe I'm living off partial brokerage, partial 401k. Maybe it's all 401k, but my 401k is so large that if it just keeps growing, I'm going to be forced to take out more money than I'll even need, which is the second one. You're forced to take out more money than you even know what to do with. So before we even look at Roth conversions today, the thing I would ask you to ask yourself is, would you rather retire earlier or spend more money? Both of those things can reduce or really negate the whole reason of doing a Roth conversion. Because the reason you do Roth conversions is tax arbitrage. Pay less taxes today, or as I like to say, eat a little bit of cauliflower today to avoid having to eat a ton of cauliflower in the future. If you are willing to just spend more because you want to spend more, you might not need to worry about Roth conversions to the same degree. Let's look at a case study to understand this. So here's the case that I'm going to go over today. You can see this is a couple. They are 54 and 49, and John is planning to work until age 60. So 6 more years, and he's wondering, should I just retire now and start doing Roth conversions? Would that make more sense for my strategy? And John here, he's saved and invested well. He's got $3.3 million, of which the majority is in his 401k, and then he has a Roth 401k as well. You can see they own their home with a small mortgage. Now, before I go on further, I want you to know that I am a CFP, a certified financial planner. That's not why you should listen to me. How many doctors would you never let touch your body? I imagine a lot of them. I don't want the doctor who messed up my brother's first surgery to do my surgery, but I'm so grateful that there are surgeons out there that exist because they put my hip back together so I could play soccer. Shout out to Dr. Poor of the Vincera Institute in Philadelphia. Now, we're going to go on with today's video, and you can see right here what we're talking about. So I am, by the way, I'm very bad at my intros because I get so excited about the content. I am not only a CFP, I'm the Chief Growth Officer here at Roth and host of the Early Retirement Podcast. You can see those are the things that my marketing team is like, please don't forget to say those things. And I'm like, let's get into it. So you can see here, this is what their current retirement assets are. In terms of goals, pretty frugal goals. This couple, you can see they want to spend $5,000 a month, so $60,000 a year, another $25,000 a year on vacation, buy new cars, and no specific heirs. So Roth conversions, another thing to consider is Roth conversions, they're great if you want to make sure that your spouse, what they often call the widow's tax, is taken care of. Because if you pass away and all your money's in a 401k or an IRA, pre-tax, your spouse now has to start taking money on a certain schedule and might be taxed at a very high bracket based off where they live. And if there's a significant amount there, you probably don't want to give your spouse, at that point, a widow, a huge tax burden. So if we look at their financial strategy, here's what we see. They've got $3.5 million or so. Their money's growing and growing and growing. And you can see they're spending along the way. And now they've got, let's say, $6.5 million at the end. This is based off of their strategy, their goals. Now, if we go to the tax tab, because this is what you're all wondering, and by the way, everything I'm showing you today, you can all get access to in the description below. And you look at Roth conversions, you're going to see some sexy numbers, some numbers that look so good. I mean, look at this, guys, $11 million more dollars. Don't rely on this. In fact, I don't even want you to consider it strongly at all. But let me explain to you what it's saying. What it's saying is, here we are, we're working, we're the dark blue, that's your income. At 60, the dark blue goes away because you stop working. And now the green is fake income. The green is Roth conversions. And it's saying, do these Roth conversions until RMDs hit. So it's trying to say from 60 to 75, even if you have Social Security turned on, you should consider Roth conversions because you're projected to die with so much money. You want to get some of it out before RMDs begin. Now, here's the first thing we need to change. Estimated terminal tax rate. So it says a bunch of fancy stuff here. All you need to know is it's the estimated rate heirs would be subject to. Well, they don't have heirs. So if they had a child who is going to be a doctor in the 30% tax bracket or 40% tax bracket in California, this number will increase because it's going to show it's more valuable. If they're like, we don't care where the money goes, it's just going to go to whoever it goes to, well, there's less value. If they were to say, we're going to fill up the 12% tax bracket, you can see also way less value. If they were to go, we're going to fill up the 32% tax bracket, you're going to see crazy amounts of value. And if you keep going, the reason it's showing more value and then actually here it decreases is because you don't want to pay so much taxes at an unnecessary 32 or 35%. But if we look at their chart here, what you can see, the green is recommended conversions. So it's saying, guys, do all these conversions, but in the future, look, they're going to be in a way higher bracket. So that's why it's showing arbitrage. What I would recommend is not to do that because that is not optimal. We're going to leave it on 22 for now. We could leave it on 24. Doesn't really matter for this example. 24 is the software saying you want to put yourself in the best position possible, convert up to the 24% bracket because your RMDs are so significant. Once again, let's understand what those RMDs could look like for them before I give some potential advice here. Once again, not one-on-one financial advice. Nothing I explain here is because I don't know your situation. But if you click on retirement and cash flows, we can actually see their plan. So here's somebody who wants to work till 60. They're going to get raises the next 6 years. They make $350 today. They're going to make $405. They're going to retire. No more income. Plan distributions. These are RMDs. If we scroll down, those begin. You can see here, Social Security starts at 70 for them and their spouse. 150 is their beginning Social Security. RMDs are projected to be $511,000, which means $661,000 Social Security plus RMDs is total amount coming in the door. Expenses are $150,000 a year plus taxes are significant at that point. They live in California, basically taxed at half. So you can see that means $297 is coming in terms of what they need. $297 is going out the door. $661 in the door, $297 out the door. That $364 gets taxed at their highest marginal bracket. And if they live where I live in California, we call that up the wazoo. So what we're going to do is look at a few options. What could this couple do? Well, the first thing they could do is say, I'm going to stop working today. They could do that. Now, is it going to show less money? Yeah, it's less money. 2.2 million fewer dollars. You can see now it's 4.2 million instead of 6.5. But if we click on the tax tab, what's it going to show? Do you remember what it said last time, guys? What was it, like 24 million? Now it's showing 13 million. Okay, that's still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, I get that. But it is a big difference because we're just getting started. What if they go, you know what? Vacations, we've realized $5,000 a month, that's just who we are. That's our base. But if we could up vacations, my gosh, we'd fly first class, we'd have so much more fun. What about $100,000 a year? Could we do that? And if they did that, you could see, once again, they have no heirs. They don't have strong desire. They don't want to do that forever, by the way. What if they just do that for the first 10 years of retirement? I'm not saying they're going to do that. I'm just being overly dramatic here. But if they said, we're going to do 100,000 a year of vacations and pass away with 2.3 million, which once again, they still said they didn't want to pass away with that much money. We go back to the tax. What does it say now? Okay, now it's still saying we should do conversions up to the 24% bracket. If we were to go, let's say to the 32% bracket, let's see what it says. Okay, it's still saying there could be some value. What about 35%? If we do that, oh my gosh, it's now saying it would be better to do nothing at all, which, by the way, this is true. I'll see people who reach out and go, you know, I already did conversions. They'll say it kind of fancy. I'm like, I wish you did nothing at all. You basically did an unnecessary surgery. So in this case, if we put it back on 24, just as an example, we can look at this and go, okay, once again, what are their goals? Maybe their goals are to pass away with $2 million. I don't know. They said that wasn't their goal. So in this case, they could buy new cars. They could help with weddings or RVs or home remodels. They could say, we're going to retire, I think because he's 54 today, not 55. Let's see if that even makes an impact. Okay, it does. A little bit of an impact there. And pretend he goes, we're just going to up our traditional living to $7,000 a month. Just example. You guys can do this on your own. But the benefit of this is, okay, well, now he's cutting it probably too close. Let's switch this to $6,000 a month. I don't think he's going to want to have $50,000 a year. And you got to be careful of your withdrawal rates here. But here's someone now with $1 million at the end who is about to do big Roth conversions. He just got 5 years of his life back. And now tax strategies like Roth conversions, well, it actually looks worse. It actually looks better to do nothing at all. So the people that say, oh my gosh, you got to do Roth conversions, they're so great, you got to be careful. So here's what I'd recommend. If you're on Google, just search stop why you shouldn't do Roth conversion, Ari James Knoll. So that's my partner. This is our video. It's got significant views, and I think it's because we gave examples that really hit home. So if today you are like, wow, I see the value, great. But if you want to really go into it, check this out. We put this out 110,000 views. All of you guys on Roth conversions, on, hey, why you should not do it when it doesn't make sense. It's basically what I did today, but just with more stories. So hopefully that can educate you more before you do it. You can see today I was showing guys, there's times when I do say do it, but there's plenty of times where I say don't. So that's it for this. If you do want help with conversion planning, Social Security, estate planning, healthcare, insurance, withdrawal strategy, investing, we do all of this. We love getting to do it. You can go to our website, rootfinancial.com, learn more about who we are, what we do, and if it makes sense, in the upper right, you'll see a little button that says see if you're a fit. If you click on that, answer a few questions, we might be talking very soon. Thanks, guys.